Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. My guest today is Edith Marshall. She's the founder and president of Citizens Comment. It's a nonprofit organization that she founded to help citizens learn a little bit more about federal rules and regulations as they change, which they're doing quite frequently right now in this new administration. Welcome, Edith.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Edith, I can't even imagine what it would be like to sit down and read through federal rules and regulations and try to interpret how they're going to impact my life, my family, my community. But you do this. And before we figure out why you do this, I want to talk a little bit about your background, because not everybody could.
Well, I'm a lawyer, and some of the jobs that I performed in the past were for the federal government in capacities where I either wrote or reviewed or sometimes tried to defend federal regulations. So I've done a lot of work in the regulatory area.
And I might also add that you did graduate from Harvard, so...
But not Harvard Law School. Harvard undergrad, but University of Michigan Law School.
Right, but so that makes you a really great debater, and you look at both sides of an argument.
I try.
So on your website, you take a look at this, these rules or these changes, and then how do you summarize them so that you're not really taking one side or the other, but putting the information out there in a digestible form for citizens?
Well, what I do is I look at what has been published by the government and basically just try to hone it down into a relatively simple summary of what the particular change in regulations is, and also what the government is saying is the justification for the change. And then I try to give additional resources and information if people want to take a deeper dive and read articles or look elsewhere.
Well, people are really looking at changes, and sometimes it's too late. There's the EPA, there's immigration, there's issues of homeland security. There's all kinds of things out there. And, they go to protests, they go to rallies, and they try to raise their voice. But what you're trying to encourage people is to document their voice and put it in the public record.
Well, yes, that's right. And what I'm actually doing is trying to just help the public to understand and take advantage of an opportunity that's there and has been there since the 1940s. The law requires federal agencies to give notice to the public when they are going to change rules, and it's just a proposal. At the proposal phase, there is supposed to be at least 30 days notice to the public, and then a period of time during which the public can comment and tell the government whether they think it's a good or a bad idea, or whether there's any other input that the public wants to have on this rule. This is something that I think most people, particularly outside of the Washington, D.C. area, probably don't even know exists as an opportunity to be heard. And the reality is that every day the government publishes the new proposals that it has for new regulations, or, as happens a lot in this administration, repeals of regulations or just amendments. But it is something that is out there for the public to look at, to learn about, and to really weigh in with the government in a way that the government has a legal responsibility to look at.
And let's talk about that, a legal responsibility to look at all issues related to these policies or regulations. So it could be just how this regulation could affect you personally. It could be information or facts that you have on this issue that you want to share. I mean, there are no limitations, and even though your website is called Citizens Comment, anyone can comment. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. And anyone can send in a comment on the rules that are open for public comment, and most of the time you don't even have to provide your name. There will be on the government website where you can submit comments, there's always a box for your name, but most of the time they will allow you to put in anonymous instead of your name if you wish. But going back to just what you said a moment ago, the only limitation really is whether what you have to say is relevant to the topic. There is a bedrock principle of administrative law that is that when an agency makes a decision, including a decision to change a regulation, they have to consider all the relevant factors. So if you as a member of the public have something that you think the government should be considering, and that may be a personal experience, or it may be a particular issue or something that you have expertise in, or just your views, the point is anything relevant to the topic has to be considered by the government. And if they don't consider it, and if they don't have a record that they considered all relevant factors, then their decision may be subject to attack and litigation.
This is such a powerful tool. I love that you're doing this. And this is a nonprofit organization, so if people want to support what you're doing, either by making comments, volunteering, or even writing a check, they can to support your work.
Certainly.
All right. And now, is there any specific thing that you're looking at right now that people might want to weigh in on?
Well, there are several right now, but the some of the issues that are up on my website right now are the recent rule that has gotten a lot of publicity, changing the eligibility criterion for asylum. Also, one that has to do with removing some of the safety precautions for really big trucks that might explode.
These are big issues. People should weigh in. So how do they get in touch with you and learn about your website?
Well, my website is citizenscomment.org.
So simple.
And all the information is there, including how to get in touch with me. But basically, you can get in touch by emailing to info@citizenscomment.org or at volunteer@citizenscomment.org or CEO@citizenscomment.org.
All of them.
Which will come directly to me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing, Edith. I really want to encourage you, and I hope all of our viewers will go to citizenscomment.org and check it out and then make their voices heard. I want to thank all of you for watching this edition of the Sustainable Scoop. I'm Miriam Gennari. Back to the news desk.